The AULA F75 Pro wireless mechanical keyboard is the perfect example of the current landscape of the mechanical keyboard industry right now. It emits a creamy, thocky sound, it's wireless and compact at the same time, and it costs less than $100. There's a lot of value going for the F75 Pro, but as is with a lot of mass produced keyboards, the biggest concern keeping these things from sustaining success might just be very well on the production side. I'm Alex from Sypnotix. Let's take a look at this keyboard that AULA did send us to review. However, they're not going to be watching this prior to publication, so all my thoughts are based on my experience using this during my time with it. So let's check it out right now. Let's get some basic stuff out of the way. As a 75% compact keyboard, this 10 keyless layout has 81 keys and a volume knob, which will make a lot of people happy. The additional column on this design is flush with the main layout, as are the directional keys. There's no separation here at all. I personally like to have a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of space between that column and the main layout, but I also didn't run into many typing errors with the setup either, so it's fine as it is. There's a two-stage kickstand that props the typing angle of the F75 Pro up quite high. This is a rare case where I did find the flat typing position to be perfectly adequate for my taste due to the sloped incline design that is much thicker on the back end. With that said, I have left it usually on that first propped up position during my review period with this mechanical keyboard. Another thing that is extremely comfortable to touch are the PPT keycaps. AULA implemented a gradient color scheme for this model that I was sent, and it centers around the core color concepts of gray and pink, and I think it just looks quite neat and reminds me of a paint catalog you'd see at like a Home Depot or a Lowe's. I love how much of an anti-fingerprint magnet these caps are, though. The symbology is side printed, which leaves the top side fully clean. It has kind of like a matte finish to it, and the oils from my fingertips don't reside on them easily. It just looks and feels good, and it looks clean even after a long session of usage. Speaking of that side engraved symbology, it's a pretty common trend in mechanical gaming keyboards at the current moment, and I think it works pretty well with this elevated angle. It's not too difficult to read the letters on the caps, and they are RGB pass-through, so they illuminate in a dark setting. It's an even better combination when you add in the fact that the RGB lights are also south-facing on this, which shine directly where the symbology is located on the keycap, so that's amazing. The RGB lighting on the F75 Pro gets pretty bright, which certain patterns and color schemes match these gradient keycaps really nicely. There are 16 preset lighting effects to choose from, to be exact. I personally find a simple, clean white light illuminating the pink and grays to be the perfect combination to make this board sparkling clean to look at. You can customize the lighting colors and also program macros using AULA's custom software. I don't personally find the appeal with this control program, but like a lot of them in this price category, it just does the job as needed, and it doesn't really offer too much extra control over the keyboard. Don't expect top-tier keyboard software that goes above and beyond here. What does sound and feel great are the Prelude Leobog Reaper switches. They're linear switches. I disagree with the marketing here that says these things are really quiet switches, but that honestly doesn't really matter because it just sounds great. This is a hot swappable 3-pin, 5-pin board, so once again, you can always customize the switches however you want it to be and sound like. The default linear switches, though, that typing experience is smooth, and AULA provides a good amount of padding in the structure as well. That is, if I'm able to actually type with this keyboard. So let's jump into this right now. Almost immediately out of the box, I began seeing double letters, spacebar issues, and an abundance of other I would say it's misfiring issues. At least that's what it seems like to me. It's almost impossible to type out a full sentence without something going haywire with it. I think what I'm seeing here is a mixture of key chatter, sticking, and maybe even some stabilizer mechanism issues. Keep in mind that this is a brand new board out of the box from the manufacturer that I have been testing both wirelessly through 2.4 gigahertz USB connector, Bluetooth 5.0, and a direct USB-C connection to the computer. Those are very basic wireless keyboard peripherals here. I can visibly also see that some of the keycaps keep getting caught on its way up from the other keys. This is extremely obvious with the spacebar, as the volume of the keycap, in terms of volume as in size, must have been produced too wide out of the factory or something like that. It's clipping the keycap of the M key enough to the point where I can actually see whitening and chipping on the edge of that keycap. Whatever the actual diagnosis is that's causing this stuff to happen for my typing to just go haywire, there are clearly quality control issues with either the board I received or the keycaps or even the switches. So something is happening here. Moving on from that, with a 4,000 milliamp hour battery powering this AULA, expect to see about a week or so of battery life off the plug with the RGB lights turned on. I didn't really get a chance to consistently use this board as a solo board due to it being really impossible to get any legitimate typing or gaming or work done with all these issues popping up. But even then, I don't think it will survive on standby while powered on for too much longer than that stated amount of time I just said. I did also try running some games with the F75 Pro, and it was impossible with that spacebar issue I faced. Ironically, spacebar is like a universal jump control for basically every PC game, so my character just looks silly hopping up and down nonstop like a bunny. If I did have it working right, where I wasn't pulling my hair out in frustration, this mechanical keyboard does also have N key rollover. While the F75 Pro isn't metal or made from traditional premium materials, the plastic shell and frame are all perfectly suitable for a keyboard in this price range. When I first pulled it out of the box, I did, in all honesty, feel a little disappointed after, I was reviewing a string of metal boards. But after a little bit of time with this board, I did find it to be well constructed. It doesn't creak when flexed. It doesn't retain much dust and debris thanks to a really well-designed structure. I also like the placement of the USB receiver slot on the top left of the frame, as it's just neatly sorted with the rest of the controls, the wireless control toggle and the Type-C plug. Tightly kept in a segment away from everything else, and that's all. I do like the design of that. The volume knob is a little loose for my liking in terms of its rotation, but it does look and operate fine. This is also the only metal material on the face of the board. If the board had operated, I would say, flawlessly out of the box like it was supposed to, I would have been perfectly satisfied and satiated with the actual build quality of this keyboard because it is well built. From a design standpoint, I do like the F75 Pro a lot. It's exactly what a modern mechanical keyboard should be at this point in the history of mechanical keyboards. It doesn't cost much, and it offers, that popular thocky sound profile that many people are seeking right now from their keyboards. Once again, I'm Alex from the Sypnotix. Let me know in the comments below if you have this keyboard and if you faced any of these issues. It could very well be this just one unit isolated situation and I just happened to get it. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.